Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
All right. Hello. Good morning, everybody. And welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. I hope this isn't all too choppy today. I seem to be having either internet problems or just streaming problems. I'm not even sure. Wait, DHS literacy program. What is that thumbnail? What the hell is that? Oh my goodness. That is definitely the wrong one. What the hell is this? How about this one? Let's try this one. Thank you for letting me know. Boom. There we go. There's the right one. So anyway, hi. It's Thursday, FTG Thursday. And I was just thinking, there's the Democrat. I know I talk about politics a lot, and Democrats seem to have a little problem that I haven't thought a whole lot about. Are there really only 9 people here? That's really weird. Anyway, it's kind of related to this over here. By the way, if you recognize this cup, see the cup I'm holding in that picture right there, right there. If you recognize that, you may have been there. That's a cup I got in Key West. It's this cup, and it has the south point. I was at the southernmost point, in the continental United States, which is in the little buoy in Key West, Florida. And it's interesting because I've also been to the southernmost point just in the United States, period, which is on the Big Island of Hawaii, because there's a point there that's farther south than Key West, Florida. And then, and also I haven't been to the easternmost point because that's up in Maine, I believe. And then the westernmost point would also be in Hawaii, but that would be on the other island of Hawaii. But I just, when I realized that we've been to basically all four coasts or borders, so to speak. And then we've also been to, and we're going to make a trip to the northernmost point, which is in Minnesota, actually. It's called what do they call that? It's the, there's a name for it, but the northernmost point in the United States, other than Alaska, is in northern Minnesota. It's called the Northwest Angle, and it's actually, you have to go through Canada to get to it because there's this tiny little piece of land that is on the United States side of the border, but it's basically in the Lake of the Woods, I think, or lake something like that. And it's this little section that's just it's United States territory, but it's connected to Canada on the other side of a lake. So, wait, what now? Having cognitive issues, apparently. Yeah, I am. It's, I saw the red, and I'm like, oh, I'll punch that one. That was the wrong damn one. Anyway, so yeah, it's I've been very fortunate to have traveled a lot, and so I feel pretty good about that. Now it says there's only 8 concurrent viewers. Is this really buffering bad? Oh no, it says excellent connection now. It says it's working fine now, so it must be good. Oh, what did I do? Escape. I didn't want to full screen that. Jesus. Anyway, good morning. It's Thursday. Let's do the show, because enough of this crap. Let's say hi to everybody and get it started. First in the chat over on Rumble, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. And special theme song. And then TC's over on Rumble too. So that's 2 people. Is there anyone else on Rumble? If you're here, let me see how many people. It says 4 people here. I'm 3rd, so there's one other person. I don't know what's going on today. Was it just I didn't get notifications out? What is going on? Maybe I should add this to Discord, but I can't. My computer's acting up. I think I just had to clean some of the dust out of it. But it's running real slow, and the fans are really loud, so I clearly need to clean that up a little bit. But so hopefully you're getting a good picture, but it's weird that there's only 11 people here. Usually there's at least 20 here by now. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, also, let's say hi to the people on YouTube. First on the chat is Mr. JB gets the bell. I almost instinctively played Avocados Diablo's theme song, and I'm like, no, that's JB who's first. And even JB even beat me because I had a little glitch when I was setting up the show. Also, good morning, Avocados Diablo, of course. And good morning, Kara Soldier, Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man, Zed the Snarky's in the house, Sure You Gospel, and that's kind of it, at least for a while. I see TC's down also here. Lord Stanhope's in the house. People are strolling in slowly but surely. And don't call me Shirley. There's Ain't Real Dude is here. Hello, good morning. Your psychic powers are strong today. Well, yeah, you were Johnny on the spot this morning. And I do have my cup of Reparation coffee. And this is a cup I got in Key West. So it has the it's hard to see because my light shines really badly. That's weird. Why isn't it? Anyway, see that's the little buoy that they have at the southernmost point, and then has pictures of beach and a cruise ship. It's interesting. We were driving along the whatever that highway called, Highway 1, and Highway 1 basically has mile 0 in Key West, right? It starts in U.S. Highway 1 starts in Key West, and it goes all the way up the coast, all the way up to a point in Maine. And we took pictures at mile 0 on Key West when we were there. That was pretty cool. And so now our thing is, okay, should we try to go to mile 0 in Maine just so we can say that we've been in the beginning and the end of that highway? It's in Maine, but it's way up on the northern side of Maine, so I don't know if we'll ever do that. But we're planning a trip to Maine next summer because we have a friend who has a house up there. So we'll do that. Good morning, Simon Wolfwood. I see you, buddy. I see you. And also Tyler F's in the house. Nice to have you here. Welcome. It still says there's only 13 people here. That's weird. Where is everybody? Anyway, should we get into some news? Because I've enough of this, right? Enough of this. Let's, oh, by the way, let's do some thank yous too. Why did I close that? Oh, I see what I did. Did I move that? I got that. All right, let's say I see some notifications here. I'm sure some people tweet out the show. Thank you, Somnambule Nation, TC, Tyler F, Sure You Gospel, Somnambule Nation again, for tweeting out the show. Greatly appreciate it. Please share the stream and hit the like button sometime during the stream. I know I asked that, and the reason I ask is because apparently that's supposed to help algorithmically if you do those things. I don't know if it does, but it can't hurt. And then if you want to sponsor the show, it's pdognight.live. Why did I do that with the wrong hand? That was weird. And that shows up in the stream. If you want to hijack the show, drop a Hamilton in and drop whatever article you want into the chat, in the super chats over on Streamlabs, excuse me. And that will be then I'll quickly divert to what you put on the show, because sometimes you guys find stuff that, oh my gosh, that just makes me go, why'd you do that? All right, good morning. Oh, Jarag SFT6. Now that's a new name I've never seen on here before, but welcome. You might just be a new person. No YouTube notification. Got Rumble though. Okay, well thank you. I'm glad. I'm curious because Rumble's really good about sending out notifications to everyone. YouTube not so much. YouTube sends out notifications to, if you watch something regularly, you'll get the notifications. But like I have 2,100, 2,500 subs, and you would think that just everyone would get a notification, but they don't. They notify a small percentage, and then if the small percentage interact, then they will send it out to a few more people. But it's really annoying that, isn't that why people sub to you? Because they want to watch what you're doing? I don't know. Good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep, and good morning, sir. All right. And thank you, Jimmy, for retweeting the show. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into the show because there's some things that are happening. Today is, by the way, we always celebrate the special days in the world, and today apparently is National Pet Day. Yay! It's National Pet Day. I know that you're excited about National Pet Day, and the top X post on National Pet Day happens to come from Elmo, or some weirdo who likes to put his hands up Elmo's hole and make him talk. Elmo says, "It's National Pet Day. Elmo is sending a big hug to all the pets out there. Elmo loves you, and so does Elmo's puppy Tango." Anyway, so do something special for your pet today. Not too special though. That's gross. And but let's see. Someone here. Let's see. Partners for Justice. Oh my gosh. This is gonna be. Is this an activist? What is this about? Okay, let me see what this is about. I didn't even see this. This week's law fact is about canines. Did you know when it comes to the law, it's not about a drug-sniffing dog's track record, but whether it is certified and the handler says it is reliable. That's problematic. Or, and in parentheses, problematic?
You know the thing.
Let's see what this activist is going to say about canines. I'm just curious. What is this stuff? And let's see what she says. She's got something on. This is National Pet Day, by the way, for those wondering why we're talking about dogs.
Hey, this is Emily Gavidan-Manza.
Hi, Emily.
Here to tell you all about probable cause on four legs.
Okay.
Specifically police dogs.
Okay.
Which are called that because if a police dog indicates that there are drugs in a place, the cops then have probable cause to search that place.
Okay.
And the problem is the law at this point is set up so that what matters is this dog certified and does the handler say it's reliable?
Okay.
Not what is this dog's track record, which is how you end up with dogs in the field like Lex in Illinois, who alerted in 93% of cases but was wrong more than 40% of the time. Sella,
but
wait,
was wrong. What did you say? 40, 42, 46, 40-something% of the time. But so that means it was right 54% of the time, or 40, 58%. I don't know what she'd say. 42, 30. This one gave false alerts in 53% of cases. Oh. Okay.
Cases. Bono, who incorrectly indicated the presence of drugs 74% of the time.
Well, I can see it being
or
a
this
problem.
whole slew of cases the Chicago Tribune looked at over 3 years. And
so wait a minute. So if they gave a false flag positive and they end up searching and they find nothing, they go away. I know it's an invasion of your privacy, but okay, that's interesting.
Suburban Chicago, which showed that when police dogs said there's drugs here, cops only actually found drugs 44% of the time. And that number was only 27% when the driver was Latino. So either the dogs are super racist.
Or they have a bad handler. That could be. Okay.
Or
hello, Shrapnel.
Looking at the dogs, we should be looking at what their handlers are doing.
Okay,
Because,
good.
of course,
That's
the
a
dog
good point.
is very attuned to the handler's body language. Dogs, as we know, want to please their people most of the time. And the handlers have all kinds of biases and motivations, including, as several reporters have pointed out, civil forfeiture. Because the police...
Now look, here's where I'm going to just stop. Because civil forfeiture, I am dead set against that. I do not like these civil forfeitures laws. And so she may have a good point here. I'm just saying.
Department may get to seize and retain a lot of cash from people who are detained and searched, even if the people are never ultimately convicted of a crime.
Yeah, the dogs aren't racist. The dogs don't care, give a shit. But the dogs, if it's, again, at least I see the point she makes by the handler, though. And it could be, so yeah, it's the handlers that could be fucked up.
In fact, a 2010 study showed that when a package was designed not to trick the dog, but to trick the handler into thinking drugs were present, the dog was more likely to false alert because their handler was tricked. Which is also why it's a really big problem that we have cases like United States v. Bentley, where a dog that alerted in 93 out of every 100 sniffs was brought before the Supreme Court, which allowed the search, even though they found out that the handler was giving the dog a treat, but only when it positively alerted.
Oh, see? Now, that, if you know anything about dogs, you know it's not the dog's fault. Okay, the dogs do what the trainers teach them. So, okay, I'm not. I thought it was going to be a little bit worse, but Emily's okay. She's probably right there. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. But anyway, happy National Pet Day. That's what the theme of that day is. I'm going to move on now. The Masters is trending now. If you're not a golf fan, you probably don't care. But I love golf. Don't necessarily like watching it on TV as much as I like playing it, but I enjoy watching spectacular shots. So if you're into the Masters is happening this weekend, starting today. So the wait is over. The 88th Masters starts today. That was that shot where this was an amazing shot though. If you're into golf, watch this shit. This is cool. This is good. Watch. I'll play. I'm gonna take the sound. I'm gonna put the sound off though. Look at this shot. So he found the
here it comes.
That's just an amazing shot.
Oh my goodness.
And it stops. Then it says, oh, fuck it, I'll just go in. So anyway, that was one of the great.
In your life, have you seen anything like that?
One of the great Masters moments from Tiger Woods. Just another trivia question. Tiger Woods won his last Masters in 2019. So we'll have to see if he can put it together again this year. There's a lot of really good golfs out there. Good morning, Mr. Scott, by the way. Welcome. I see you, brother. All right. So anyway, if you're into the Masters, and for that reason, Augusta National is also trending because it is. And let's see, when you're blessed to play Augusta National, you get to visit the members pro shop. The Masters logo is iconic, but ANGC, Augusta National Golf Club logo merch is the ultimate, rarely seen, classy, and subtle. I went a little bit overboard, so someone went and bought some. All right, that's cool. Also trending is Cannes. The Cannes Film Festival is happening, I guess, right now. And I personally don't give a shit. Moving on. Also, Alan Richson, the guy who plays Jack Reacher in the Amazon Prime series Reacher. Looks like a giant. He's actually only 6'2", but they make him look big by camera angles and whatever. But he is a well-built young man. Apparently, he's getting a lot of attention today because I'm sorry. Let me let you guess why Alan Richson is getting a lot of attention on X today. Just type it into your chat. Why do you think a Hollywood actor is getting a lot of attention today? Well, just give you a couple seconds. Okay, you've had time to type it in, and I will see it as the chat pops up because it takes about 30 seconds. It is, yes, AD is on the spot. It is because Trump something. He, in an interview, apparently he smears, well, first of all, he rips on Donald Trump. That's why he's trending, because all the lefties are excited because this fairly little bit too good looking man with lots of muscles and very popular on this show said something bad about Trump. So when you say something bad about Trump and you're a celebrity, you automatically get kudos and extra ratings and extra attention from the people that be. So he said something about Trump as a rapist and a con man, yet the Christian church seems to treat him like their poster child. I don't understand it. Christians today have become the most vitriolic tribe. It is so antithetical to what Jesus was calling us to be and to do. Well, maybe the Christians are forgiving, saying that let the Lord judge Donald Trump, but let's let him run the country because he does a better job than the old fart with the bad memories. So there you go. I don't know, but he's getting attention because of that, but also he's getting attention for some other things he's done. For example, because he's getting so much attention. Good morning, number one. And Tex AG 007. He's also getting attention because if you're going to get attention, well, you're going to get the good attention and the bad attention. And apparently, there's some article in USA Today. Well, this isn't bad. He just reveals a sexual assault by a famous photographer left some scars. I don't know what that's about. He must be doing a lot of interviews right now because the second season of Reacher, well, it's been out for a while, but I don't know why he's getting attention. Anyway, the main reason is because he said something bad about Trump. And if you say something bad about Donald Trump, well, of course, all those Democrat paid, influencer accounts that do that kind of stuff, like Morgan J. Freeman, which is not the real Morgan Freeman. I can't do a Morgan Freeman voice. I wish I could. I need to work on that. Anyway, or the Occupy Democrats or the Krasensteins or whoever, all the left-wing accounts are talking about Alan Richardson now because, he said something bad about Trump and that automatically gets you attention. All right, next. And Reacher is also trending because of that. Now, this is interesting because someone here said even every Hollywood tough guy, including Jack Reacher, is a cuck in real life. Look, here's the thing. Alan Richardson is a very muscled guy who plays a tough guy on TV with choreographed fights and all sorts of cool effects and things that make you look taller than you really are because they put you around a bunch of short actors to make you look taller and bigger in life. And so everyone's thinking, oh my gosh, this guy's such a tough guy. Apparently, in the Hollywood Reporter, this is their thing for whatever for him. And then someone says, but he was also one of those. Now he said, arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. That's an interesting case since they returned fire at the boyfriend, but whatever. So that's why he's trending. Also, FISA is trending. Remember the FISA thing? Apparently, people are still talking about this thing with the FISA. Now, where is it? Where's the one? Because apparently, Donald Trump has said that they should kill FISA, the FISA program. Here, Thomas Massey spoke on the floor. I just spoke on the House floor to urge my colleagues to move forward with a vote on an amendment requiring warrants for FISA surveillance of Americans. If the warrant amendment doesn't pass, we must vote no on FISA reauthorization. So here's Thomas Massey talking about what program I wasn't really very clear on. Let's go full screen on this so you can see it. Here we go. All right, here's Thomas Massey talking about FISA.
For that, I would yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Kentucky.
The gentleman yields. I recognize the gentleman from Kentucky.
I thank my colleague from Texas. Today, we're voting on a resolution that will bring forward reauthorization of a program that's been abused for decades, the FISA 702 surveillance program. Before we vote on that program, though, this resolution that we're voting on now prescribes that we will bring forward an amendment to require warrants if you want to spy on Americans, if you want to use this database as a backdoor to look at the private information of Americans, you would need a warrant if this amendment passes. Now, there's some people who say, oh, getting a warrant is too hard. It'll slow us down. You'll put America in danger. Listen, I've been in the SCIF, the classified area, where they're supposed to tell us the problems with requiring a warrant, and they never have told us a single example of where getting a warrant would be a problem to national security. In fact, we've got a provision in the warrant amendment that says in exigent circumstances, you can skip that step. You'll hear today that, oh, everything's fine. We don't need the warrant amendment. We've got 53 reforms in this package. Here's the problem with those reforms. We rely on the same people that abused the system to enforce those reforms. And they still don't go to the constitutional level that is required in this country. Who doesn't trust those 53 reforms?
Yeah,
Congress
right,
doesn't trust those 53 reforms. The authors of this bill, you know how I know? Because they put an exemption, 2 exemptions for themselves in this bill. That's right. If the FBI is going to use 702 FISA to spy on congressmen, they have to tell Congress.
Now, that's the part that had a lot of people up in arms, especially that people in Congress were kind of in a way exempting themselves from this bill, requiring a warrant for Congress to use it, and so they could warn members of Congress. And remember, a lot of these, especially the Democrats, say, "Oh yeah, all you Republicans are Russian stooges and all that shit." Well, if that's the case, why would you want to put a warrant on them and not anybody else? I don't know. Hello, Guns and Cafe, aka Reaction Puerto Rico. Wait, OJ, whoa. Hold on. All right, I'm going to stop this for a second. Hold up. Hold. What the hell's going on with my mouse here? Hold up. OJ kicked the bucket? Hold on. I don't know about this. Is that true, or is this oh my gosh. Breaking news. O.J. Simpson has passed away at age 76 after a battle with prostate cancer. Wow. Nicole Brown taking O.J. Simpson straight to hell. The news that O.J. Simpson passing, and this says white people? What?
I'm about to show my ass.
Oh, I see. They see that white people are going to be celebrating. I don't know about that. On April 10th, our father, Orenthal James Simpson, succumbed to his battle with cancer. He was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. During this time of transition, his family asked that you please respect their wishes for privacy and peace. Well, look. I don't... I truly think he got away with murder. He was one of the great running backs in the history of the NFL. He was a decent comedic actor. Never took him seriously as a dramatic actor, but he was a fairly decent comedic actor just because he knew what he was doing, playing his role. He was a decent broadcaster. But he got away with murder. Do I am glad O.J. Simpson is dead? No. But this is breaking news in the last 15 minutes, I guess. O.J. Simpson trying to get into heaven. Yeah, I don't think he ever repented for what he did. Hello, Unacceptable Views, by the way. Will Khloe Kardashian be attending the funeral? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. So anyway, rest in whatever peace God will allow, OJ. That's what I say. Rest in whatever peace God will allow. And may the Lord have mercy on your soul. That's what I say. But that the man's dead. I'm not gonna. His family is sad, and there you go. So I don't see. I don't know that anyone truly sees O.J. Simpson as a hero, except maybe his family. And so, rest in peace, O.J. Simpson. Thanks for letting me know that. I was going to say I almost said your real name. Thanks for letting me know that. Reaction Puerto Rico. All right, let's move on. Other things trending. Dan Crenshaw is trending. Dan Crenshaw is trending because he's being critical of Republicans, so that's always good for one of these McCain-type Republicans. Dan Crenshaw. Someone saying he's anti-American. He's a disgraced veteran. He's a CIA puppet, and he's a filthy rich congressman worth over $4 million on a salary of $174,000 a year. I'm ashamed of you Texans that reelected this loyal piece of fecal matter. Dan Crenshaw actually outperforms in his stock trading, outperforms Nancy Pelosi, and but I don't why he's trending. Apparently because. Well, one, he voted to allow Americans to be spied on without warrants, so the FISA deal, and he's very an advocate for this FISA program. What else here? Oh, and he also ripped on Tucker Carlson, so all the lefties are happy about Dan Crenshaw. Hello, Uncle Bad Touch. What is going on?
Man.
We know who you are. So there you go. A lot of people are angry that Dan Crenshaw's a snake. Texas, does this man work for you? Because he sure doesn't work for America. Seems he works for Dan just like many other in government, self-centered, self-promoting SOBs. Yes, my cheers were pissed in this morning when he is the first face I see. Yeah, oh, and also this is the guy. So apparently he tried to get this guy this is well here's another example of why people don't like Dan Crenshaw. Today's a good day to remind you, everyone, who you really are, or remind everyone who you really are. Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher goes full bore on Dan Crenshaw. Crenshaw tried to wrongfully railroad Gallagher into a lifetime in prison. Gallagher was found innocent of murder in spite of Crenshaw's corrupt efforts. He decimates Crenshaw in this video. Oh, it's 11 minutes long. We're not going to do it. Texas voters, get rid of this traitor. So I'll put this as a separate link. It's 11 minutes long, so I'm not going to play it here. But it'll be in the links today. So I guess, okay, here's a Krasenstein take. Okay, here's a Krasenstein take. Oh, because he ripped on Tucker Carlson. Former U.S. Navy SEAL and current Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw has just brutally attacked Tucker Carlson. He writes, "This is who Tucker is, a click chaser. Tucker's MO is simple. Defend America's enemies and attack America's allies. There isn't an objective bone left in what that washed up new host's body. This mindless contrarianism is his guiding principle, buttressed by his childish tactic to just ask questions. But any educated adult, especially one with such a long career in journalism, should occasionally try answering some of those questions objectively. But he never does. Instead, he uses his platform to sow doubt and paranoia and false narratives. He does this. I don't think this is this is not what Crenshaw wrote. Is this what he? Okay, I guess this is what he wrote. But any educated adult was okay. But he never does. Instead, he uses his platform to sow doubt and paranoia and false narratives. He does this for one simple reason: clicks and engagement, which of course translate to monetary benefit. He wants you to believe he is the last place you can go to for truth, and he's the only one brave enough to reveal the elitist lies being told. This nonsense about Christian mistreatment in Israel is just the latest example. Tucker will eventually fade into nothingness because his veneer of faux intellectualism is quickly falling apart and revealing who he truly is, a cowardly, know-nothing elitist who is full of shit. What are your thoughts? So, yeah, he did get that little thing about Bethlehem wrong. Which is a pretty big mistake if you're a journalist. Do journalists get things wrong all the time in every forum? Oh my, do they? So the idea that, the idea that Tucker Carlson got something wrong, I'm certain he'll let's see if he does a correction. That's what we'll find out. Buzz Patterson, the astronaut, Dan Crenshaw is the Adam Kinzinger of Liz Cheney's. Hello, selected boy.
Yeah, boy.
And there we go. So, all right. So here we go. Gotcha. So anyway, that's why he's trending. And also another politician trending is Mike Johnson. Now, there are people who are upset with Mike Johnson because he's allowed this FISA bill to go through, because everyone's talking about Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, on the left and the right, because some want things passed through Congress and some things don't want to go through Congress. And Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, kind of helps decide what gets done and what doesn't get done in Congress. So, for example, this person, Republicans Against Trump, says, Russia has completely destroyed Tripoliska thermal power plant in Kyiv due to Speaker Mike Johnson's refusal to bring the Ukraine aid bill for a vote. Ukraine doesn't have the capacity to shoot down Russian missiles and drones. Shame on you, Speaker Johnson. Well, look, maybe they should have the ceasefire. Maybe should have talked about that. I don't know. It's awful. Yes. Is it our business? We don't have we don't have any political ties to Ukraine that require us to constantly give them our money. Again, airplane theory. We don't have our mask on right now, and we're trying to help getting everyone else's masks on. We need to put our mask on. So, I'm sorry. It's awful, but yeah. Now, this Aaron Rupert, the sword hangs over Mike Johnson's neck. At this point, we haven't been that effective. GOP Scott Perry to Maria Bartiromo. And that's in reference to Margie Taylor Greene, who's trying to get Mike Johnson ousted. And she says Republicans do not believe in warrantless spying on Americans. Speaker Mike Johnson is urging members to reauthorize FISA after President Trump said to kill FISA. It's like the deep state to hold itself accountable after it has abused the American people's trust. Now, does she have a point? Now, someone here says, there's a community note. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene voted in favor of the procedural vote on a bill to reauthorize the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Now, look, you voted on a procedural vote, meaning you're going to allow it to be discussed and whatever. So now, but he also, blast Joe Biden. Mike Johnson, Biden has, what is this? Oh, this is Israel News. I'm going to skip that. Oh, but now President Biden also has slammed Mike Johnson. Breaking, President Biden just slammed House Speaker Mike Johnson for his cowardly inaction on bringing a Ukraine aid package to the floor of the House. Let's see what Biden says. Now, this is 13 seconds. So, and this is obviously someone who's very pro Joe Biden. Let's see what Biden says here.
The war in Ukraine by the House leader allowing a vote. There's overwhelming support for Ukraine among the majority of Democrats and Republicans. There should be a vote now.
Okay. Was that slamming him or just saying he wants the vote? And listen to Biden try to say this. I'm surprised he finished the sentence. Listen to this again.
The war in Ukraine by the House leader allowing a vote. There's overwhelming support for Ukraine.
Yeah, whatever. Now, Glenn Greenwald said Trump finally denounces the attempts of Mike Johnson and the establishment House Republicans in union with the Biden White House to renew FISA and the FBI's domestic spying powers with no reforms or added warrant protections. He says, finally. That's Glenn Greenwald, who's not a fan of FISA. So interesting. A lot of this is regarding just what Mike Johnson allows to get through and whatever. And so he's going to get a lot of heat for whatever he does because there are very disparate factions interested in Mike Johnson. All right, let's get into some articles now because that's all the trending topics I kept here. But here's one on Mike Johnson. From NBC News, not MSNBC's, but it might as well be MSNBC because NBC is very much like MSNBC when it comes to things like this. Here is, let's do a wide center. There we go. House Speaker Mike Johnson to deliver a march with Trump on election integrity. Now, I'm sure this is going to go over well with people on the left that he's standing with Trump on election integrity. House Speaker Mike Johnson will travel to former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate on Florida. That's the other thing we didn't do. We did not go to Mar-a-Lago. We didn't want to drive that far north. We were staying in South Florida, so we thought about driving up to Fort Lauderdale to see it, but maybe our next trip. We want to it's funny because we spent the whole week in South Florida, like way south, like the Keys and Homestead. And we had to go back to Miami to fly back home. And so we had all morning to kill, so we got up early and went to Miami Beach and hung out on Miami Beach, had some coffee, had some breakfast, and thought, oh my gosh, this would be a cool place to go too, because this beach is huge. So we're thinking of doing a trip there sometime in the future, and then maybe drive up to Fort Lauderdale and check out Mar-a-Lago. But anyway, let me start this over. So House Speaker Mike Johnson to deliver remarks with Trump on election integrity. Now, House Speaker Mike Johnson will travel to former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida on Friday for remarks about election integrity with Trump. Two sources directly familiar with the plans confirmed. Oh, well, they have two sources. Asked by NBC News what his news conference with Trump will focus on, Johnson... Wait, Republican of Florida. Is Mike Johnson from Florida? I thought he was Texas. Said, you'll have to see. I look forward to going down there. Asked to elaborate on election integrity, Johnson said, free and fair elections. Okay. This is CNN. First reported plans for the remarks. The House is set to be in session Friday, but votes are expected to be held in the morning. Johnson faces threats to his job from his right flank over scrutiny over handling of thorny issues in a narrow Republican majority, including military aid package for Ukraine and other U.S. allies that has been held up for months despite his vows to pass new Ukraine aid. Johnson is under tremendous pressure from Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican of Georgia, another Trump ally, who has threatened to force a vote on a motion to oust him over funding for Ukraine. Greene argues that congressional attention and funding should be turned to the southern border rather than Ukraine. Last month, she filed a motion to vacate and depose Mike Johnson, but stopped short of forcing a vote to remove him. Good, because I think he's as close as we can to be. Look, they're not going to find. It's just then again, wasting time in Congress where they can't vote on other shit. I'm not against that. Remember, I don't mind when they shut down Congress. You don't have to shut down the government. Just shut down Congress for 6 months. I'd be happy with that because they're not. Is really are passing a bunch of new laws all that important? I mean, don't we? Why? Why do we need them all the time? Just shut down Congress. Leave the government running. It'll run on autopilot for 6 months, and then let Congress come back and shut the fuck up. That's all I care about. Anyway, he's going to go down to Florida talking about election integrity, which will certainly piss off all the Democrats. There we go. Also, let's see. This is from Politico. We got the Department of Justice opens a formal investigation of the U.S. Steel takeover. So remember, U.S. Steel apparently is being bought by Nippon Steel, a.k.a. Japan Steel. And the Justice Department has opened an investigation into that. So maybe I just get concerned of so much foreign ownership of so many things. We need to erase old laws. Yeah, we need to. Like I said, I think every session of Congress, at least 1/4 of it, every session of Congress, at least 1/4 of every session should be dedicated to repealing old, stupid laws. I think so. Anyway, the Justice Department has opened up an in-depth antitrust investigation of Nippon Steel's $14.1 billion takeover of U.S. Steel. Again, according to two people with direct knowledge of the matter. I love that they aren't forced to use sources anymore. They name the sources. Just two people familiar with the matter. So who knows if this is true? The move escalates U.S. government scrutiny of the controversial deal, which has drawn fire from lawmakers, labor unions, and others who argue that the storied U.S. industrial titan should not be owned by a foreign company, even one based in Japan, one of America's closest allies. It also follows a preliminary antitrust review previously reported by Politico. The opening of the antitrust probe has the potential to ripple through Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's official White House visit this week, where the strength of the U.S.-Japan alliance is meant to be on full display. The Japanese leader said he hoped the proposed deal would proceed in a positive direction, but did not criticize U.S. scrutiny of the transaction. Quote, Japan believes that appropriate procedures based on law are being implemented by the U.S. government, Kishida said Wednesday at a joint press conference with Biden. Then last month, President Biden highlighted those concerns in a highly unusual statement spaced well before Kishida's arrival, saying it must remain an American steel company that is domestically owned and operated. So, is the president doing a little prickly pear action on the president of, or prime minister of Japan? Hello, Trippy Liberty. What's up, brother? I don't know, man. And look, the Japanese are one of our closest allies. Will they always be? But they are now, and I think they will be for a long time because, you know, we have that relationship. We rebuilt Japan after we did the thing, and that was kind of a first, you know, World War II, where the people who were defeated were rebuilt with help by the people who defeated them, and that's kind of a first in war history. Like, if you think about it, like that's probably some of the problems that after World War I, why Germany got a little saucy, let's just say, and that's very an understatement by leaps and bounds. But now the people who we defeated are some of our fiercest allies, or at least until the guy with the funny hair came around, and you know, and the Europeans went crazy. Anyway, so that's interesting. Moving on. Also in the news, Senate strike down Biden administration's climate regulations targeting car emissions. Oh my gosh! Wait a minute. The United States Senate did this? Senate strikes down Biden administration's climate regulations targeting car emissions. The Senate on Wednesday afternoon voted in favor of passing a bill reversing the Biden administration's actions, mandating states to track and set reduction goals for greenhouse gas emissions from vehicles on highways. The chamber approved the resolution in a 53-47 vote in which Senators Kirsten Sinema, Sherrod Brown, John Tester, Joe Manchin joined every Republican voting in the affirmative. The bill was introduced in February by Senators Kevin Cramer and Shelley Moore, one from North Dakota, one from West Virginia, and Manchin. So it was sponsored by a Democrat. Wow, Chuck Schumer allowed that to even be voted on? Few things are more frustrating in government than unelected bureaucrats asserting authority they don't have and foisting federal mediocrity on the excellence of states, Kramer said in the floor remarks earlier Wednesday. The Senate will take up my bipartisan resolution that overturns the Biden administration's obviously illegal rule that requires state departments of transportation to measure CO2 tailpipe emissions, then set declining targets for vehicles traveling on highway systems in their respective states, he continued. Now, it's interesting. Biden-appointed judge delivered blow to climate lawsuit targeting gas stoves. The resolution is a response to regulations the Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration finalized in November, which the agency says support Biden's whole government approach of reducing carbon emissions by 50% in 2030. So they are voting down a bureaucratic action by the Department of Transportation. However, Kramer and other lawmakers argued that the FHWA overstepped its congressional authority in issuing the regulations, which essentially imposed performance measures on state departments of transportation and metropolitan planning organizations. Kramer blasted the FHWA for justifying the rules, saying Congress did not explicitly bar the action. So, because Congress didn't bar it, we just said we're going to do this. The Biden administration should have never introduced this rule, but now we, the policymaking branch of government, must end it, the North Dakota Republicans said. So, good. I'm shocked. I am shocked that Chuck Schumer allowed this to go through. Now, again, this doesn't look like, the language on this is upsetting me. Hello, Special Cat Ashley. What's up? The language on this in this article is a little bit troubling to me. voted in favor of passing a bill reversing a Biden administration action. But it sounds like they still have to vote on the bill. Now, this type of bill will fly through the House. But yeah, they do. These government agencies set all these rules and regulations, and then, but not passed by Congress. They make up rules and then they somehow become law without actually having Congress approve them. And I don't know the status of that Chevron case that they've been talking about. How that was before the Supreme Court on whether federal agencies can basically make laws through regulations. But I hope that shit ends. All right, now let's move on to at least the cover topic today, because this was interesting, what happened at California, Berkeley. And I'm going to, let's see, find it here. Let me get the right one. There it is. No, that's a funny one. I got another funny one too. So here's something that happened at California, Berkeley. And I've been kind of talking about, somewhat, how the conflict in Israel and Gaza, whatnot, the Palestinians, is taking a little bit of luster off the Democrat prospects for 2024, because there are a lot of people who are vehemently against what's going on in Israel, which, you have your opinion and I'll have mine. But especially on the left, who are saying, that the United States supporting Israel is basically the United States supporting a genocide. And they're very mad at the Biden administration. They're very mad at their liberal professors. They're very mad at cities who won't call for a ceasefire. They're very mad. They're very highly activated activists. Okay. Hello, Episkipos. Hellsung, a new last name. How you doing, bro? Nice to see you. So this isn't something that happened at University of California, Berkeley. And it's very interesting. So, and I want to go through this because it's just very interesting, and how the activists will even embellish on the facts a little bit just to make their point. And I think it has something to do with the concept of taqiyya, which is it's okay to lie if it's for a noble cause. So let's go through this. A group of Berkeley law students accepted an invitation to dine at the private home of Dean Erwin Chemerinsky, he's a famous law professor at Berkeley, and his wife, a law professor. Then they disrupted the event and refused to leave. Bizarrely, this student claims her conduct is protected by the First Amendment. Activists are attacking the dean and professor as white supremacists and Zionists. Now, I think it's funny. If you know anything about Erwin Chemerinsky, he's a law professor or dean he's a dean at Berkeley. And he's one of the most, he's been on a lot of shows as a liberal guest. He's out there liberal. He's Berkeley liberal, okay? He's Berkeley liberal. And they invited these students just as a private dinner and at their personal home, okay? Their personal home. So let's see how Chemerinsky, how he describes what's happening. He says, he wrote this letter, and he's a professor. Yeah, he's a dean. I write this with profound sadness. Since becoming a dean, my wife and I have invited first-year students to our home for dinner. We were asked this year by the presidents of the third-year class to have the graduating students over for dinner because they began in the fall of 2021 when COVID prevented us from having dinners for them. We were delighted to oblige and designated 3 nights, April 9th, 10th, and 11th, that graduating students could choose among. I never imagined that something that we do to help our community would become ugly and divisive. Last week, there was an unlawful poster on social media and bulletin boards in the law school building. Now, I don't know what, or excuse me, awful, not unlawful, because I don't know what an unlawful poster would be, but a an awful poster on social media and bulletin boards in the law school building of a caricature of me holding a bloody knife and fork with the words in large letter, "No dinner with Zionist chem while Gaza starves." I never thought I would see such blatant anti-Semitism with an image that invokes the horrible anti-Semitic trope of blood libel and that attacks me for no apparent reason other than I am Jewish. Although many complained to me about the poster and how deeply it deeply offended them, I felt that though deeply offensive, they were speech protected by the First Amendment. But I was upset that those in our community had to see this disturbing anti-Semitic poster around the law school. The students responsible for this had the leaders of our student government tell me that if we did not cancel the dinners, they would protest at them. I was sad to hear this, but made clear that we would not be intimidated and that the dinners would go forward for those who wanted to attend. I said that I assumed that any protest would not be disruptive. On April 9th, about 60 students came to our home for the dinner. All had registered in advance, all came into our backyard and were seated at tables for dinner. While guests were eating, a woman stood up with a microphone, stood at the top step in the yard, and began a speech including about the plight of the Palestinians. My wife and I immediately approached her and asked her to stop and leave. The woman continued. When she continued, there was an attempt to take away her microphone. Repeatedly, we said to her that you are a guest in our home, please stop and leave. About 10 students were clearly with her, and ultimately they left as a group. The dinner, which was meant to celebrate graduating students, was obviously disrupted and disturbed. I am enormously sad that we have students who are so rude as to come into my home in my backyard and use this social occasion for their political agenda. The dinners will go forward on Wednesday and Thursday. I hope that there will be no disruptions. My home is not a forum for free speech, but we will have security present. Any student who disrupts will be reported to student conduct, and a violation of the student conduct code is reported to the bar. I have spent my career staunchly defending freedom of speech. I have spent my years as a dean trying hard to create a warm, inclusive community. I am deeply saddened by these events and take solace that it is just a small number of our students who would behave in a clearly inappropriate manner. Irwin, Dean, and Jesse H. Choper, distinguished professor of law, blah, blah, blah. So that's what he said. Okay. Invoked blood libel. That is a stretch. Well, the poster, apparently, what did it say? It was an image of him. What does it say? A caricature of me holding a bloody knife and fork with the words in large letters, "No dinner with Zionists Chem while Gaza starves," as in he's eating the blood of or whatever of the Palestinians, which is actually technically is considered blood libel, I guess. So now the interesting part of this is this is the video. This is the video posted on social media by the activists. Okay, so we're going to watch. This is their version of it. And they say that on the last day of Ramadan, this was without context too. This is the interesting part. This is without context. This was put on TikTok. On the last day of Ramadan, UC Berkeley law professor assaults a hijabi.
Fast.
A hijabi.
Not only from its legal substance. It is not your fast. Not only it is my house. Fast. We have attorneys. We have attorneys.
Okay, you don't have to get
Excuse
aggressive.
me. I'm not.
Please leave our house. You are guests at our house.
This is our First Amendment right.
No.
Now she's saying that it's her First Amendment right to make a speech in someone's backyard. Now that's interesting. And Chemerinsky is obviously dean of law school, and she's a law professor. I think they would know whether or not it was First Amendment rights. But this is interesting.
This is my house. It is. The National Lawyers Guild has informed us as our.
So that's what they posted. That was what they posted. Now we're going to go on in this. This provides some background on the protests. This is from the Washington Free Beacon. Berkeley student group shares. Now, is that a blood libel cartoon targeting the law school dean, saying Zionist Chem with blood on his fork and knife there? Here's the article. Zionist Chem while Gaza starves. And it says, I suppose it says no. Oh, here it is. No dinner with Zionist Chem, which is Chemerinsky, while Gaza starves. I don't know if they can expand the poster or not. I guess you can't. But anyway, where are we at here? Let's go back. A supporter of this protest is a supporter of the protest is calling on people to have the dean swatted. They posted this. I'm pretty sure the dean and his wife deserves a 6 a.m. SWAT team wake-up call. No, they don't. Now, this clip shows the protester was asked to leave repeatedly and refused, even after the homeowner threatened to call the police. She held onto the bike, risking pulling the older woman down. She said that because she was a Muslim woman, she could not be touched. So a little more context into what this was, because again, what they posted here, notice this says nothing. It says nothing else other than on the last day of Ramadan, UC Berkeley law professor assaults a hijabi. So if you only saw this TikTok, which I'm sure most people who are probably hemming and hawing and pitching and moaning about this, probably only saw that video with no context of what was going on in this picture. Just the last day of Ramadan, a law professor attacks a Muslim woman. Here's a little more context via video.
You are guests at our house.
This is.
Hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings upon you all. Tonight we are gathered here in the name of commemorating.
And they didn't want any speeches or anything. This was not the purpose of this. And she says, please leave. Okay.
Leave.
Our final few weeks as law students.
This is my house.
Tonight is also the last night of the holy month of Ramadan, where millions of Muslims around the world fast. Not only from material sustenance, fast not only from material sustenance.
Now, I'm curious, from a legal standpoint, they've asked her to leave, but the professor is, I don't know if you'd call that as assault, maybe, I don't know, but does touch the woman. Now, should she have touched the woman? It is her property, and she's asked to leave, and but I don't know if she should have grabbed the mic or whatever. They should have found. What's funny is they came here with a microphone and a speaker. Where is the microphone and speaker coming from? I don't know.
Touching her. We have attorneys.
Stop touching
we
her.
have attorneys.
Okay, you don't have to get
Excuse
aggressive.
me.
I'm not
Please leave our house. You are guests at our house.
This is our First Amendment right.
No,
this is our First
this is
Amendment.
my house.
It is. The National Lawyers Guild has informed us this is our First Amendment right, and they are aware of this. They're not wrong.
This is my house.
This is my house, and you're no longer welcome here.
Police. You are not welcome.
Okay, you can call the police.
No, I don't.
You can call the police. I'm getting.
Please stop touching her.
Just please leave. If you don't want to be here, leave my house. Please leave my house if you don't want to be here. You're my guest in my house.
You are not invited for this purpose.
We are talking about Ramadan and the holy month of Ramadan as Muslim students.
But this is not where they didn't invite you to do that. Well, you can do that outside when you leave and hold a vigil and protest outside, but this is their personal home. You cannot do that. Oh my God.
Refuse to break our fast on the blood of Palestinian people. The UC has committed sending $2 billion to weapons manufacturers. I know, and we're just giving a speech about Ramadan and the holy month. If you can grab me the mic back, I will leave.
Good. Okay.
But will you please give me the mic? Please, will you give me the mic back? Let me turn it off.
Please turn it off.
I'll turn it off.
You're not a guest. You're a guest in my house.
I know, but 40,000 people are dying. 40,000 Palestinian people are dying. And
if you don't wish to be here, please leave my house.
is giving $2 million to
Please
weapons
leave our house.
manufacturers. I encourage everyone
It is
here.
incredible.
All right, so you get it. And it goes on for whatever. So now let's listen to how they describe it, because they put and you saw what happened, right? You saw what happened. Here's just part of the description of how they described this event. Berkeley Law for Palestine at Gmail, whatever, demanding accountability for Professor Fisk's assault of a Berkeley law student. And I'll just stop at the as part of collective students, faculty, and staff, community members across the University of California system, I'm writing today to demand the removal and accountability of Dean Erwin Chemerinsky and Berkeley law professor Catherine Fisk. On April 9, 2024, Dean Chemerinsky and Professor Fisk held a dinner open to all graduating third-year law students in their home. That same day, a Palestinian Muslim hijabi law student who had stood to say a few words on the month of Ramadan. Oh, was she invited to say that? Did the professor say, come on up and say some words about the last day of Ramadan? No, I don't think he did. And uttered the Islamic salutation, Assalamu alaikum, and whatever, I can't pronounce it, translated to peace and blessing upon you in Arabic, was assaulted. Now, which video do you think they put up as far as being assaulted? Probably that first TikTok video, right? By Professor Fisk for exercising her First Amendment right. Not in my backyard, honey, not in my property. You can say your shit out in the street in the public, but this is not your First Amendment right. Fisk placed, now listen to this. Now this is the part that I want you to think about what you saw in both videos. And then listen to the description they write. Fisk placed the student's head in a chokehold. Wait a minute. How do you put someone's head in a chokehold? Maybe their neck, but not. Placed her head in a chokehold, and her hijab was tightened around her neck, impacting her ability to breathe. Now, I could have sworn that girl was talking the whole damn time, so I don't know. If you can talk, you can breathe. Professor Fisk simultaneously grabbed the student's phone and attempted to take it from her. When the student successfully held on to the phone, Professor Fisk struggled with the student and forcefully yanked her microphone away from her, dragging the student's body along with her. Dragging? Now, I don't understand drag. I suppose technically it's dragging because she walked with her when she went up the stairs. Dragging the student's body along with her. Continuously, Professor Fisk grabbed the clothes of the student and touched her breasts and chest section inappropriately, twisting her shirt and her outerwear. Is that what you saw in that video? And it's on video. And if you watch this assault happened on the last day of Ramadan, the holy month for millions of Muslims around the world. Okay, well, you are basically been trespassed on the holy day of Ramadan. Is there any special compensation for that? The UC campus have for too long turned a blind eye to blatant Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian racism experienced by many students on campus. How does this qualify as that? She just said, no, you're in my house. This is not the time for your speech. Did I just see my T2's in the house, Woo's in the house, Godzilla's in the house. Nice to see you guys. Holy shit. Hang on, I'm going to read more of this. So the UC campus has far too long turned a blind eye to the blatant Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian racism experienced by many students on this campus. At Sathergate, Muslim, Arab, Palestinian, and pro-Palestinian students have been verbally assaulted, physically harassed, and continuously intimidated by students, faculty, and community individuals. I'm gonna guess that is some two-way conversation going on whatever they're talking about there. I'm gonna guess that it's two-way. It's not just one side has just harassed us for no apparent reason. I'm sure you've been yelling some shit at them too, because that's the nature of this whole movement. Have been verbally assaulted, physically harassed. Wait, verbally assaulted and physically harassed. That's interesting. And continuously intimidated by students, faculty, and community individuals. The assault that occurred on April 9th is only one example of many dangers that visibly Muslim, Palestinian, Arab, and pro-Palestinian students experience on this campus. So if you're in let's say you're in my house, and you decide that you're going to stand up and bring a microphone and give a speech, and I ask you to leave. The danger, one of the many, those dangers don't happen if you don't get up and make that speech. The dangers don't happen if you disrupt my event in my backyard, and we ask you to leave. We don't want this here. You're in my space, so you go. I say no, stop, and leave. This is not a place for you to protest in my backyard. I don't, on my personal property, in my personal space. Instead of peacefully engaging with us, our educator and administrator threatened to call the police because you did not leave when they asked, weaponizing law enforcement against marginalized students and misrepresenting our rights to the First Amendment as citizens, not in my house. We demand accountability for the violence and trauma inflicted upon our peers. We demand the resignation of Dean Chemerinsky and Professor Catherine Fisk. No professor that has harmed a student should be granted the privilege of being allowed to teach, especially when Muslim and Palestinian students no longer feel safe in their presence. We demand, yes, those two old folks are really a big danger to you, I'm sure. Oh my goodness. We demand complete punitive consequences for their assault and battery on a member of our graduate student community. You've deliberately aligned yourself with violent systems of oppression, racism, and white supremacy, and the ongoing genocide of Palestinians in Gaza is no exception. We have seen this time and time again, as was the case with our comrades. Oh, interesting choice of words. The Irvine 11, and as recently when the Regents chose to arrest students during its January meeting while remaining silent to the documented bigotry of Richard Lieb. We ask you to set a new precedent. Rest assured we cannot and will not allow this to become our legacy. As Regents, you have the power and responsibility to direct our chief, blah, 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 blah. So, is that what you saw? Is that what you saw? I'm reading this letter going, what? So, there are multiple comments on this. Yeah, I will leave this to my fire colleagues, but I'm pretty sure grandstanding at a private dinner, whether your hosts are professors or not, and being asked to leave is not a First Amendment violation. That's kind of what I would think. I think OJ did it. Oh no. So anyway, yeah, I mean, when they write that grab the microphone and drag the student, usually when you're dragging somebody, it's when they're on the ground kicking and screaming. You're dragging them, she made it sound like she was being dragged by her hair or by her hijab. I don't know. Yeah, that letter was written for maximum effect, but it sure doesn't describe the video that we saw. So fascinating. All right, let's finish up with a couple quick things and then I got to go. Actually, I'm going to finish up with one thing because, there's a lot of good stuff in here, by the way, that's going to be in the links today. I just don't have the time to go through it. I'll give you a couple examples. Apparently, some January 6 rioters went early release even before the Supreme Court ruling on that Enron rule that they've been using to put a lot of these people in jail. This is from the archive from the Washington Post. Federal judges have begun ordering the early releases pending appeal of January 6 defendants who challenged their sentences, though the Supreme Court is a week away from hearing arguments on whether the key charge brought against them is legally sound. Now, they and obviously this is the Washington Post, so they're going to use probably the example that will draw the most ire. A Delaware man who carried a Confederate flag into the Capitol will be let go 1 year into his 3-year term. An Ohio man who overran police lines and became one of the first rioters to enter the Capitol will be set free 6 months into a 19-month term. And a man who entered the just evacuated Senate chamber with a Trump flag as a cape was released after serving 5 months of a 14-year term. So some of these cases they're probably on good behavior, and I'm assuming that some of these were because this rule is pretty it's pretty unlikely to stand, so who knows. Other one, UN climate chief presses for faster action, says humans have 2 years left to save the world. every 5 years you got 5 years left. Well, this has 2 years to save the world. Humanity only has 2 years left to save the world. What is it? This is the Associated Press. Humanity only has 2 years left to save the world by making dramatic changes in the way it spews heat-trapping emissions. And it is even less time to act to get the finances behind such a massive shift, the head of the United Nations Climate Agency said. So there you go. Trust the science. Yeah. Also, Eric Swalwell says in Vladimir Putin's battle plans, he looks at his air, land, and sea, and now MAGA resources. Oh, Eric Swalwell, the smartest guy in Congress, if it's opposite day. Nathan Wade pleads poverty to get out of alimony and child support payments to his ex-wife after resigning as Trump's prosecutor over improper relationship with Fannie Willis. Well, didn't he get paid $700,000? What are you talking about? He resigned from his role as blah, blah, Wade withdrew from Trump, blah. It is Gateway Pundit, and Jim is a little bit hyperbolic on certain things, but you know what? I'm amazed. I'm amazed that this is happening. And then the other article here, that's just an internet speed test because I was having problems. Now, so we'll finish up with this little ditty right here, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to explain why perhaps this reporter could be my hero, just possibly. And it's self-explanatory. This happened in Australia, down under.
Good afternoon, Julia. You know my pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me your pronouns. I use correct grammar, so the only thing I would need to refer you to your face would be you. But
Stop right there. Stop right there. That should be everyone's answer to someone who tries to tell you their pronouns. You know, it's funny. So, I was at a Caribou Coffee shop recently, and Caribou Coffee is a kind of a Minnesota-based coffee chain, somewhat like Starbucks, but smaller, and I think much more friendly and better. But they have on the wall, at least the one I was at, they have these little printed 8.5 by 12 or whatever, 11, whatever it is, sheets of paper, printed on them, telling you about the people who are working there. And they say their name, their favorite food, their this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it also lists their pronouns. And my first thought when I went in there, I saw that, I go, hey, why the fuck do I need to know your pronouns? Because if I talk to you, I'm going to say you, your, whatever. I don't care what your pronouns are, because I'm not here to talk to anyone about you or to other. I might talk to you possibly, but other than that, I don't need to know your pronouns, and I'm never coming. I probably never see you outside of this Caribou Coffee shop. And so when someone tells you their pronouns, I'm like, that's great, but I'm talking to you. Unless you use a different pronoun for you and your, I don't need to know them. I don't care. So her first response to this is very appropriate.
Good afternoon, Julia. You know my pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me your pronouns. I use correct grammar, so the only thing I would need to refer you to to your face would be you. But I'm not being rude. You can choose your pronouns. You can choose what you want to call yourself, but you don't get to require me to use incorrect grammar and factually incorrect things. You're not a plural. You're a one person. and you're a female person, so I will use she and her. Thank you very much.
Do what you like, I guess.
Well, there you are. You didn't need to tell me then, did you?
Maybe I'm just making sure people know in case they're watching and they want to refer to me respectfully.
Is it disrespectful for me to use correct factual grammar?
It's not incorrect or unfactual grammar to use singular they them pronouns for an individual. But we're here to talk about the CAS review.
Yeah, but you chose to bring it up.
You chose to use the incorrect pronouns for me.
I chose to use the correct pronouns for a single woman who is appearing on my show.
I'm not a single woman, though. I'm a very special non-binary trans person, as you just pointed out.
I didn't
really
just point that out.
In the crowd.
I didn't just point that out. I introduced you as a journalist and a Virgin Radio presenter.
No, just before I came on, you were talking about how people with all these labels like to be special. And I'm just making sure that everyone knows I'm special.
OK, I'm not special. I'm just a boring old heterosexual married woman. But, you know, sorry about that. We're not allowed to do that anymore. In fact, that probably does make me special now. I don't know.
Anyway, so, you know, does that even need commentary? It drives me nuts. And by the way, the singular they, I've been talking about this for a long time too. Singular they is not referring to a single person. It's usually used as a multiple options for when you don't know the gender of the person you're talking about. For example, when you're talking about an unknown, you know, if someone parks their car, okay, it's because it's not a single possibility. It's a possibility of more than one. It could be a male or a female or multiple people. It could be that particular there. So when a person parks their car, you're not talking about a singular person. You're talking about multiple possibilities. And it's always been that way. It's never been a single person. And so this special person is a narcissist who wants to just control other people's language. I speak in a dialect in which a female human being, if my perception of that person is a female human being, then I will use she and her. If it's my perception is that person is a male human being, sex, not gender, don't care about your gender. I care about using language in the dialect that I speak, and you asking me to speak a different dialect just to make you feel better is like telling some people to say axe instead of ask, to force them to say ask. Now, it may be weird for some people to hear people say axe. I asked you a question or ask you a question, but I don't care because that's how you speak. And I understood what you said. And I'm not going to force you to speak in my dialect, which would be ask. Okay. So there you go. I got to go. Thank you, people, for joining me on the Morning Night Live. I hope you've had a special day here today. How many people are here now? There's over 30. That's good. Do me a favor. This show is sponsored by you, the viewers of the show. Hit the like button. That helps. Hit the share button. Share the stream. Retweet. Do all that stuff. That helps. And if you ever want to sponsor the show in a monetary way, which keeps the lights on and my internet running, you can sponsor it at pdognight.live 24 hours a day. You get 256 letters to tell me what you want or add a link if you want to drop. If you ever want to hijack the show, we're doing the $10 hijack the show link. And YouTube super chats and Rumble rants and Venmo and Cash App. All that stuff's in the description if you want to sponsor the show. But thank you for just being here and participating in the chat. I hope you have a wonderful day. I gotta go. I'll drop the links in the chat during the outro. My name is P Dog Night. And I'm out of here. Bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Night, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Night. And I'm out of here.